They all have the urge to go faster and faster. They put their heart, their soul and their money into these street racing machines. And today, they'll test them over the 1/8 mile here at Mildura. Playing feature support category for Slamfest, they get to show their wares up against their fiercest rivals. Who will take out ultimate victory here on the Sunset Strip? It's not just about nitrous oxide, turbocharged or normally aspirated motors. It's about the competitors.
Mate, Pro Street Racing is car racing based on street configured cars, pushing street configured cars to the next level. Basically what we've got is a group of guys that have taken cars that have come out of the factory line and done a lot of investment into modifying them and getting great performance out of them. There's a number of categories involved in Pro Street Racing. We have Pro Street, Modified Street, True Street, along with a radial class and 10.5 Outlaw Racing, which is a very exciting new class.
So what are these big horse-powered, fire-breathing monsters all about?
A lot of guys are racing big block Chevs on nitrous oxide. We've got twin turbo V8s, and we also have all sorts of different configurations, turbo Nissan engines, all the way through down to rotaries. The Australian Pro Street Association caters for all sorts of different combinations.
And today's meet has attracted a top quality field of determined competitors.
We have number 1 and number 2 in Australia in Pro Street. We have Dom Lupino and Craig Hewitt. Craig Hewitt's car's an Aussie-built Walkinshaw Commodore running a half chassis, tubbed, big block nitrous injected Chevrolet engine. Dom Lupino is running a Mustang with a twin turbo small block Windsor. Both of these cars are running in the bottom 7-second passes.
Dom Lupino is a driver to keep a very close eye on. His Ford Mustang is considered to be one of the pace setters.
You look at it, the body, everything else looks pretty damn stock.
Yeah, it does. Well, that's the whole theme that we're trying to chase is that street car appearance. You know, we're trying to retain the mirrors and all the street cars sort of feel about it. So.
And the Mustang itself, you're a Mustang fan?
I'm a Ford boy through and through. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Now I've heard a rumour that this small block engine with 2,200 horsepower might have a short future in this car. You got something on the way?
I reckon it's probably got a lifespan of about 3 months, and then we've got a 632 cube big block Ford ready to go in. So.
632 cubes, still with the 80mm turbo?
Still with the 80mm turbo. We estimate we'll probably make 2,700. So that should be a handful for us.
And there's all the other guys in Pro Street going, uh-oh.
Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I'll stay a little bit tight-lipped about that one. Yeah.
Well, they're big horsepower and big fun now. Rob, it's time to find out what they can do on the track.
Yeah, we're picking up the action in the final qualifying session. Daniel Saban in the Capri. Big smoky burnout here at the Sunset Strip. He's taking on Craig Hewitt in a very, very tidy Walkinshaw Commodore.
It's been a long time since I've seen the Capri doing a burnout, but it should be a competitive machine. They were always very light and well handling too.
And what you do, of course, is these Pro Street cars, from the outside, they look extremely streetable. They've still got their standard steel panels, etc., etc. And as Dom was saying, many of them go to the extent of even leaving the rear vision mirrors on them, which they don't use a lot on the 8th mile drag strip. But it's all about sticking in as much horsepower as you can, whether it's through nitrous oxide or turbocharging or huge engines. And they've got a selection of classes for Pro Street, but when they go to race, it is all heads up. There's no handicap, the greens come on together, and it's a race at Mildura over the 8th mile or just on 200 metres.
Ford versus Holden, and the Ford has got the upper hand, got the power down cleanly, and it's a Capri victory in our first of these qualifiers.
Yeah, Shaban there, 540, absolutely left Hewitt in his wake. 220 kilometres an hour at the end of just an 1/8 of a mile from the standing start.
Hewitt just bogging down there at the start, and that's what cost him victory, because once he was up and running, you could see there wasn't a great deal between the two. It was just getting that clean start that made all the difference.
The guys here at Mildura have been chasing traction. It's a regional track that doesn't see a lot of big car action through the year. And of course, Slamfest comes to town with the door slammers, and in this instance, the Pro Street is in support. And it's like a Formula 1 track. It needs to rubber in. Now, after a lot of testing yesterday and some qualifying last night, by this third qualifying session, I think you're going to find the traction getting better. And people like Craig Hewitt there, he was trying to take it easy off the start line and then get the power down later, and the car bogged. So the track has obviously come around a little bit.
Well, my first road-going car was an LX Tirana, but it didn't look like these two mighty beasts.
Yeah, we've got Simon Krieger in the on screen now in the black Tirana, and John Habib. John, of course, in the other lane. And John, one of the leading lights of the Australian Pro Street Association. They've done a great job getting a good list of sponsors on board to make all of this happen. People like Staunch Supplements, CBH Steel Molds, Slingshot Converters, B&L Automotive, DNS Commercial Concreting, Multi-Style MMA Sports Centre, and Northmead Auto Centre. So really getting this on board is what's been able to provide the opportunity for these guys to get as many events as they are now.
Oh, Habib gets the start too. Power down beautifully, and he's going to take the victory. Looks in the revision mirror, sees Krieger back there, and there'll be a big smile on his face as a result.
That was a good race. 5.36 seconds for John Habib. You saw the wheel stand off the line. He's fighting that car, but 0.04 of a second in front of Krieger gives him the win light.
And stick with us, we've got more Pro Street Racing coming your way right after this break. Welcome back to Sunraysia. We are Pro Street Racing, and boy oh boy, do we have an awesome battle coming your way in just a few moments' time. That magnificent looking Pontiac. Vlasakakis has put a lot of time and effort into this machine, and it has turned out to be an absolute treat. He's up against this man, Johnny Wilson.
Yeah, Johnny won. Well, he is a big name in Pro Street Association. Always one of the heavy hitters, always heavily involved in getting things happening, and has a legion of fans right across the country. This purple Tirana, really very well known on Australian drag strips. Michael Vlasakakis, well, the Pontiac, he's been trying pretty hard. This is our final qualifying session. Then they're into the serious stuff coming up with a series of round-robin Chicago shootout-style races. Let's see how this Pontiac can take on Johnny Lewis.
Waiting for the lights. There they go. The Pontiac gets the nose up. He's almost out of control. Had to back out of it. Michael Vlasakakis did a great job to hold on to that, but it's going to be Wilson that takes the win. You gave us the leg up. The Tirana would be strong.
Well, 5-1's a great ET for Wilson straight down the middle. But what about the Pontiac? The huge wheel stand. He's got out to the centre line. His right wheel's right in the sticky traction groove, and his left wheel, there's no traction out there, so it's never going to go straight.
Straight up on the two wheels. Look at that on the replay. And as I say, a really good job to gather that all up with big horsepower. Well done, Michael.
Well, Dom Lupino now in this amazing twin turbocharged small block Ford Windsor powered Mustang. He is the pace setter at the moment, has already run a 5.04 second 8th mile in the earlier qualifying rounds, trying to marry up this car with the traction available, because it's just such a monster.
We took a close-up look at it in the lead-up to these qualifiers. Lupino, a man who's really come into this race meeting with a lot of confidence. Dom was saying that with the horsepower that he's got under that bonnet that we're looking at right there, that many of the opposition were shaking in their shoes. Let's see how his shoes shake once he puts his foot on the accelerator.
What the crewman there is doing is just making sure the wheelie bars are set up nice and level for the launch, because if he goes into a wheel stand, he doesn't want to suffer the problem that Vlasakakis did and get out of the centre.
Oh, slow away. Dom, very slow away. But it's a solo pass. He gets the power down now. What sort of a time does he clock up?
Well, that time I don't think he'll be too worried about it. It's qualifying. He's already got a 5.041 on the board from the earlier round, so he is our #1 qualifier, just ahead of Johnny Wilson with that 5.13. Daniel Sarban, the 5.28. Then it's John Habib, Simon Krieger, Michael Vlasakakis, Craig Hewitt, and Jamie Farmer.